Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to Day in the Life of a Barbecue Pitmaster at the Busiest pit room in Texas. Well, this is going to be a really fascinating video because you're going to be looking at, obviously, in Texas in general, they love barbecue, but the most busy place, or busiest pit room, this is just going to be chaos. And I assume it's one of those things where this guy is going to be, I say this guy, it's probably going to be a group of them, but we're going to be focusing on, I guess, on one person. Starting from dusk till dawn, probably starting from like 4 in the morning, but I guess they're constantly cooking stuff, and then people will probably be on the night shift maybe, I don't really know, but I think it's one of those jobs where you're going to be working a lot, and in terms of America, I think this is one of those essential jobs, to be fair, because this stuff is just adored, and rightly so, because of how many people love this food, and how I guess culturally linked and tied to regions this food is, but also the country as a whole. Obviously you have different style barbecues, but yeah, it's definitely linked to the regions that it's in. But we're going to see what this entails, how this job, I guess how much of this job sort of takes up your life. Yeah, and just see how it goes really, because just the work that gets put into making this food is obviously a lot, but to see it firsthand will be really fascinating. But hopefully you enjoy, hopefully you're going to learn something from this video too. I mean, a lot of you will probably know how this stuff goes, or maybe seen this video before, but yeah, let's jump into this and check out the roles these people play in feeding America. But yeah, let's jump into this. Oh my goodness, what cut of meat is that? That looks sensational. Brother.
These guys have been marinating over 12 hours. We just got salt, pepper, and a little bit of love on there. We're going to be arranging them from largest to smallest to start off. That'll help them cook evenly, and we'll do a shuffle halfway through, and keeps everything cooking nice and even. But you know, once you get used to it, you don't really realize that you're cooking 300 briskets every day. It just feels like a Monday, you know? But then you look at other places, oh yeah, we cooked all of 14 briskets a day. Like, oh, I did that before I woke up.
But when you're talking to like a stranger or something and they ask you what you do and you say you're a pitmaster at Terry Black's, it's got to steal the conversation a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, he works at Terry Black's. I mean, it makes sense that it's the busiest, but damn. So he's the top dog. Oh, I mean, this isn't related to, but I wonder what the pay is for this. Because Terry Black's must make bank. And to be a pitmaster there, you are basically the reason that they make bank, because you are the one making the food and all that stuff. But I wonder how much this guy would make.
Definitely. Yeah, immediately. Oh, what kind of wood do you use? You know, how many are you doing a day? You know, what's your method? You know, it's like immediately. Everybody loves barbecue. There's just no doubt about it.
Facts.
It's a universal love.
Unless you're a vegan. And look, I respect vegans because I don't know how you can withstand and stop yourself from eating foods, and I respect it because of the reasoning, but damn, I could not do that. But yeah, only vegans don't like barbecue. Or people who are just very, very picky eaters. But realistically, even if you're a picky eater, you're going to love this food.
You know, they come from Japan. They come from all over the world. Ireland, New Zealand. I've met. Yeah, there's no corner of the world I think I haven't met somebody from. The Blacks have they're kind of the staple of barbecue. So using that post oak, that's like the most Central Texas thing you can do. But it has a very light flavor to it. It's a one-time bite because North Texas uses that hickory, South Texas uses the mesquite. They stay on your tongue all day. You're gonna be burping it up and stuff. But that post oak, it's smooth, one-time bite, and it's got that vanilla caramel flavor to it. And yeah, you're not going to be getting too heavy of a smoke. You're going to be able to get the flavors that we're putting on top of it as well, which is something that's kind of hard to do with barbecue. Yeah, when we first got here, we were cooking maybe 10 briskets a day sometimes, and now we're steady doing that 300. It's awesome to
300
have those numbers
a
under your belt,
day.
get those reps in, you know.
Good lord.
These guys have been on since 2:30 a.m. We got just salt, pepper, smoke, and love on here. Now, these guys go.
Well, this is what I was saying, from like dusk till dawn. I don't know if he's been there the whole time, but he's there at 7 in the morning, and he's saying they've been there since 2 in the morning. So it is like it's just full day job. This becomes your lifestyle to a degree, doesn't it?
For 9 hours unwrapped. They get beef tallow and apple cider vinegar poured over the top when we wrap it up in butcher paper. We'll cook it in that paper for 3 more hours, and then we'll pull it off and rest it for 12 hours. We're also doing a 6-hour beef rib, 6-hour pork rib, 3-hour turkey, and 3-hour sausage, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Today we're loading up over 300 briskets across 8 pits. By the end of the day, we'll load up 60 racks of beef ribs on our oiler, which is a 1,500-gallon rotisserie. So we'll have 300 briskets and 60 racks of beef ribs cooking all at the same time. These guys have already been cooked for 3 hours. What we're doing now is we're cooking these guys hot and fast, so they got that nice snap to it. Yeah, we're gonna get these guys right up to that 165, 170 range, and they'll be ready to go. So up here we got our OG. The back we have JC. It's our jalapeno cheese, original sausage, and that sausage is 80% brisket, 20% pork rib. We're making sure that we don't let anything go to waste. As soon as we get in, we're, for one, looking what's already put on the board. As you see, we got all these briskets loaded already. 5's open, 7 and 8 are obviously getting loaded. See, we got 2 Lockhart pits.
On top of the food they cook for their own location, the Pitmasters at Lockhart make some food for the Austin location as well. Oh, so there's multiple Terry Blacks.
Lockhart are in yellow, Austin is in blue. Within the next couple hours, we'll get the next schedule to see what we need to do for the afternoon crew. Just trying to make sure that we set up the next crew as much as possible before we get out of here. If you want to be set up, you got to set up someone else. Austin briskets go on the right. They're going to get transported around 3 o'clock. We transport every day because we're supplying them with about 40% of their total product for the day.
Oh, jeez.
We also have pork ribs in here, turkeys. We got the works going on. 72 racks of cutting up today. So this is their cut list. They gotta do 35 briskets, 72 beef ribs, and 176 pork ribs. Oh yeah. Average day at Terry Black.
Damn. All that. Just all the fat. Damn, this prep work must take so long.
Alright, so what we're doing.
Obviously, this part takes the longest, but in terms of like actually like having to cut and stuff, like cutting the meat and all that, that must take hours. That must be the most boring part. But maybe for me, maybe for them, they enjoy it. Although I don't know if that'd be the case.
We're going to be rotating these briskets. So as you see here, we got the smallest ones up front. We're going to be shifting these guys to the back to keep everything cooking nice and even. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take all of these guys out on our nicely placed foil. We try to rotate at 4 hours. If need be, we'll do a second rotation, but these pits are so efficient, we really don't have to do more than one. I mean, the times change often, like load times, but we always try to stick within the 12-hour window. If you're going too fast, you're gonna most likely have an undercooked brisket. Too slow, you're gonna probably have an overcooked point, and then your flat could still be underdone. Everybody knows barbecue is a slow process, but once the motions are in action, you gotta be real quick at it. Oh man, these pits go cold within about 5 minutes. So I mean, you'll see. You see that guy's already down all the way pretty much. The main thing is we have efficient fires. So, you know, if you do your fires right, it should shoot right back up and, you know, again, like another 5 minutes. Yeah, that's why you always gotta be attentive as to like how your fire's looking and if you need to add another log. A lot of the times we'll actually get the pit a little hotter than it needs to be right before we rotate so that it can
He's just handling
equal out, you know.
the meat. Like, there's no heat to it at all as well. I mean, I don't know how heat-proof these gloves are, but he doesn't seem to be fazed by it. I guess that's just a bit of, like, conditioning, right?
That consistent heat going. Just based off of what you can see here, this side has gotten a little more color on it than over here.
Looks so good.
That's why you see me just kind of moving everything the opposite of where it was. These middle briskets, the reason why they're staying there is because this middle path is pretty efficient. You're not gonna have too much difference if you shuffle them around, but these walls, that is what mainly has to be switched around. So as you can see right here, this definitely has a little less color to it versus over here. So it's gonna help everything even out color-wise, and it's gonna help keep that thinnest part of the flat cooking even. The flat here, as you see, it's got that skate ramp shape to it. we want to make sure that that doesn't keep getting color. That's gonna that'll get charred and gross before the rest of the brisket is ready. So we're gonna add foil there to help it cook efficiently with the rest of the brisket. You see that guy is way thinner than the rest of the flat on the other side here. You got a good half-inch difference on the size of that flat there. So yeah, you want to make sure put that foil on there. The main goal
that makes that much of a difference. That's so interesting.
is to use as much of the brisket as possible. I mean, whatever we don't cut on the block, we'll end up putting into our chopped beef. Still, you know, we want to get the most usable slices as possible. Being outside, you know, I've worked in kitchens where you're stuck in a white box for 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours, and you know, it just feels so disconnected from reality. You're kind of trapped in a prison, and being out here in the world, seeing the trees, seeing the seasons change, and you know, feeling natural wood smoke on your face is just, it's addicting. Honestly, it's absolutely an obsession to start those fires and you know, just get my hands dirty. There's really nothing that satisfies that itch like barbecue does. Yeah, there's a reason why barbecue has been around for as long as it has. There's a reason why it's lasted as long as it has, and that's because everybody's barbecue is a little bit different, and it becomes almost like a family crest of sorts. You know, you develop your own style, develop your own flavor, and that becomes the standard amongst your family. That's what people become, you know, familiarized with. And then it's like, man, I've left my mark. You know, no matter if I'm gone 30, 40 years from now, you know, they'll still know my food. They'll still know exactly, you know, that's my barbecue. The majority of what we're cooking in here with is all over.
He lives and breathes it.
Out of Dripping Springs, he really makes a good quality pit.
Oh god damn, they're so big.
These guys are actually pretty unique in the sense that this bowl here cooks just as hot as the front of the pit. So this 1 inch gap right here is about a 30 to 40 degree difference. So these ones in the bowl here will come off at the same time as the ones in the front of the pit, if not sooner. When we wrap up, like I said before, that we have beef tallow and apple cider vinegar on there. That apple cider vinegar is going to keep the bark from sticking to the paper, and the beef tallow is actually going to tenderize that brisket a lot. It's going to do what we call a confit. So it's basting that brisket constantly in that fat. And yeah, that makes a really, really tender flat, I'll tell you that. We really feel like the process that we have now is pretty bulletproof. Any brisket, any quality is gonna come out pretty good on these pits.
I mean, turkey's one of the hardest things to cook out of all of them, isn't it? Because it's so easy to make turkey dry. So I wonder if he's gonna show the process for that. Oh, can it get better than that? I don't think so.
All right, so we have our samples in front of us now. We have our lean, moist, and a pork rib. That lean is looking really good. We got some good rendered fat on there. Now, this is the test, the tug test. No resistance really at all. It just fell right apart. Flavor's really good. Fat is perfect. The smoke is there. The salt is just on the money, so I'm satisfied with that. In the moist here, you see we got that nice fish scale look to it. That fat is just right into every little pocket of that brisket. And the bottom of this moist is how I usually determine the texture. Man, right there, the money. Perfect tenderness. Fat's right where it should be. Salt is not too heavy. Primo. Yeah, no complaints about any of this today.
So he basically gets to try all the foods before. That's pretty mint. I can't lie.
Yeah, breaking down the outside of this wood as I'm doing here, that's going to help build that coal bed a lot faster. Keeping up on it, making sure that you're breaking down your wood as you go, definitely helps keep a strong coal bed. And later on in the cook, the coal bed's more important than the actual wood. The beginning process is where that wood is mostly giving off its flavor. But yeah, after a while, it's just about the heat, just keeping that consistency. So early on in the cook, we're looking for smaller pieces like this. That are going to be a little on the barkier side. It's going to get you a lot of that flavor. Now later on in the cook, I'm looking more so for heat. So I'm grabbing larger logs that are going to burn a little hotter, but they're going to burn for a little longer as well. The bigger logs do tend to have a good balance between smoke and heat. once they catch. Now what you're seeing right here is a little bit of back feeding. It's okay because these logs are freshly tossed on, but we don't want that to go on for too long. Too much of that back feeding smoke can actually cause a little bit of acridity and give it a little bit of bitterness that we don't want. The one thing I haven't touched on yet is the dampers. So the
Damn, there's a lot to this then. And it's his role to pretty much do all of this. I mean, there's probably a few of them, but he's definitely got a lot to do. Good lord.
dampers do control that airflow a lot. It's like putting your thumb on a hose pretty much. We're gonna open it up a little bit more. The way you can kind of put it in layman's terms is closed is like an oven, open is like an air fryer. As you see, it's nice and wet over the top right here. That's good. That means that the water is starting to render out of that brisket, which is what we want. We want to render all that water out and get the fat to start rendering. As soon as I open that damper up, that fire is going right out the gate. Now I may have to adjust here and put a third channel log there and do one across the top, but you know, all that just comes with playing with it and learning your pit. So at this point, these briskets are ready to wrap. We have this fat cap right here. If you get a close up on that, you can see how soft it is. It's like a burnt marshmallow.
Oh,
that means it's full on ready to go. You see how much
jeez.
juice is pouring out of there. We want to make sure we keep that fat in there because that's going to help it settle in those intermuscular fibers, like you saw on that piece of moist cut that we had earlier. So I'm going to take these foils off, and then we're going to get right to wrapping here. If you don't leave with some tears, then you probably weren't even here. Yeah, the name of the game with barbecue is being 5 steps ahead of everything. Always got to make sure that you know your papers are cut, your foils are cut, your bottles are filled. If you're not preparing yourself, you're gonna have a really hard time. The motions have to be done really fast and they have to be done efficiently. So if you're not setting yourself up for success, yeah, well, you're gonna have a hard time finding it.
My God.
You can see right here that decal fat is nice and rendered up close to that brisket. It's even with the point here. So we've reached the point where we're gonna pull one of these briskets off here. We're getting a nice squeeze on it. You can see right there, it's kind of just doing what I want. It's really pliable right now.
Oh, so you cook it back with this? Oh, damn. Just wrapped up. So this is, I guess, how it gets really juicy. It was already looking pretty moist before, but this is just additional, I guess.
But the way I'm gonna check it here, so I'm gonna flip it upside down. I'm gonna open this flap, and I'm gonna check the center part of the flat here. That's the thickest part of the flat. And as you see, we're getting that 199. That's like right on the money of where we're pulling. We're pulling around 197 to 200. So I'm gonna pull this guy off right here, and we're gonna let it rest on this rack. We're gonna let it rest until it's about 150 degrees. So I just gave Shane some information about where we're standing on the pits. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish up cleaning. I'm gonna get my grease taken care of, refill the water for them, make sure my floor is swept and all my papers are cut. And now it's just chill out for the rest of the day.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for the day, man.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Appreciate
good
it,
spending
dude.
time with you, man.
All right.
Damn, there's so much that he does then. Bloody hell.
I did.
Thank you.
What a lovely guy, though. He lives and breathes it, and that's what you want. If someone who makes your food genuinely cares that much, then you know you're in for a good time. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, wait, when you like the video, a knife and no, sorry, not a knife, a spoon and a fork. That's pretty cool. I used to think Texans were overconfident on their barbecue, but then I went to Texas, specifically Terry Black's, and then I understand. In other parts, barbecue is a delicacy, and Texas barbecue is a religion. It's just not the same. I'm digging these walkthroughs, documentary videos, put in perspective of how much work goes into good barbecue. Yeah, this is a really cool video. I really enjoyed this, and yeah, like I said, this guy lives and breathes this, and you know damn well if that's the case, you're in for a treat. But yeah, that was a little look into, I guess, the day in the life of a barbecue pitmaster. Specifically at Terry Black's, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of this, and I guess some of you have probably eaten here before, but now you see this, I guess it makes you think even more about just how great the food is. But that's pretty much it. Until next time, like, subscribe, peace.